A horse is a symbol of freedom, movement, instinct and strength. Although a fire horse amplifies everything and symbolizes intense energy, passion, ambition and transformation. Riding a horse requires patience, humility, self-awareness, empathy, balance, emotional regulation, kindness and respect. But do we know how to ride a fire horse?
It's no longer the time of shedding and clearing. It was like 6,000 years ago the last time this happened. Well, it's considered what's called a world point, where it's like a once in a generation kind of energy upgrade. We are clearing and releasing like an outdated construct of time. It's a remembering more of who you are across essentially multiple levels of existence. It's a time to really, really embody our authentic soul and our true mission.
Get yourself comfy and cozy for this exciting episode with my dear friend Lonna Davis, a cosmic frequency vocalist, psycho-spiritual, intuitive and shadow worker, as we chat about the energy forecast and frequency for this new lunar year. I'm Sarah, and you're so very welcome back. I appreciate you, your open ears and open heart. Enjoy! I'm so grateful to have Lonna back on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's beautiful to be here and see your smiling face.
All the way from sunny Mexico.
I know, it's great. Like, I'm just a different being here. Like, it really feels like there's a part of my soul that just comes alive in these lands. It's just like all getting in the water. I'm a 5-minute walk to the water. Like, it's the simplicity of the daily. Like, I can get up, go to the ocean, just like leave it in the ocean, whatever's coming up, do my journaling, and then come back and like work during siesta time, and then go back out for sunset. And I have like a little pool right outside my door and playing with friends. So it's pretty beautiful. Yeah, I've been communing a lot with the beings of the water. Like, I was singing under the water the other day. I heard dolphins singing, and I literally heard dolphins under the water, and so I started singing, and then all these fish kind of came around and have been meeting me kind of every time I go out to the ocean now, which is really cool. So I don't know, the animals are acting different, like nature's acting different. It's like we're more communion together. There's less separation, which is just like, I literally, there was a day where I felt like Ariel. I was like all the fish are just swimming around me, and like, these aren't the same fish, but I believe all species have like a collective consciousness to them. So I swear that there's recognition of these fish. Like, they just, like, there's points where I'm just like swimming in the water, and they come up out of the water and like they're like looking me in the eye, and I'm like, you're like looking into my soul right now. Like, I've just never experienced fish like that. So it's been really cool to kind of go out there and just be in the water, be with my water beings. So yeah, I'm loving it.
Sounds very Lemurian vibes.
It is very Lemurian vibes. And I'm literally like, I'm intentioning to see a whale. I swim out way farther than most people. Probably not far enough where the whales, because there's rocks and stuff. They don't really come in where the rocks are, and I don't go past the rocks because it's tumultuous ocean over here. But yeah, definitely communing with my Sirius friends. And I don't know, Sarah, I feel like a different being in the water. Like, when I'm in the water, it's like everything just slows down. It's like I'm in the womb. It's like all infinite possibilities come online, and like I'm in there for hours. So I feel so much more comfortable in the water than I do on land. So, and they do say that we started in the water and we moved to land. So it's just been really cool, because I mean, I lived here forever. So I just haven't had that connection with the water before here. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, it feels more magical, and it's more turquoisey. We don't really get turquoise waters here. That's more the Caribbean side, the other side. And it's just like the waters have just been magic. Although the weather in the world is going nuts. So, I mean, it's like at home, it's -25 and just absolute blizzard after blizzard. And like, my sister has to turn on her water every hour just for the pipes not to freeze, which Like our pipes are made for cold in Canada, so it's really it's quite a contrast of where I would be normally at this time. So I'm just extra grateful, I think. And just, like, it's just, I feel like a different person here. I feel like I come more alive here when you can like really be in nature and of nature, you know?
And
how have you been doing?
At this time of the year as well, I was just about to say, it's absolutely perfect. You're kind of dodging that serious coldness.
Yeah, definitely. I picked, it was literally the day I left. My sister's like, it just plummeted like when you left. So I'm just like, I'm sorry for you guys, but I'm just fully grateful for waking up to the sun every day. And also we've had rains here, and where I'm at, it's like 6 months of rains in their summertime, which is generally like end of May to like end of September, and then no rain. And we've had 2 huge rains, actually 3 big rains since I've been here, which is kind of crazy because we don't really get rains here at this time. So that's been magic too, like all the rain falling on all the foliage around me, like it's just like a cacophony of sounds. Like you can really feel the shifts of Gaia, like you can feel what she's moving through, and like I feel a part of that. Like I feel like I can breathe her and feel her in a different way. So, and also I can walk around barefoot here. So I just walk everywhere barefoot. It's great.
Yeah. And the earthquake yesterday?
Yeah, the earthquake yesterday was higher than normal. I mean, apparently there's been 33 earthquakes here since I've arrived, but this one was like a 5.9 magnitude. So like we really felt it. Like I felt it come up through my body. I was like sitting outside, like with my feet on the ground barefoot already. So it was like I could feel the energy come up through my body, and it was like really, it was such a communion with Gaia, and like I could feel what she's going through, and I could feel like it's almost like birthing pains, you know, like it's contraction and just expulsion, like you used earlier when we were speaking. So like that's exactly the energy of it. So it's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, sounds amazing. It's been very wet here, like total floods everywhere. The whole of Spain is just like rain for the last month.
Oh wow.
Very unlike Spain.
Is it cold? Like what's the temperature?
It's about, now I think today was about 5 or 10 degrees Celsius.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
that's
a lot
chilly.
of flooding. Yeah, there's been like storm after storm after storm, rain, floods. There's like massive floods in the south of Spain, and a lot of people need to be evacuated and rescued, and so yeah, it's pretty intense.
Wow. The world is crazy. And also, I do believe that there is weather modification happening. Like, I don't think this is all natural that's happening. I think there's some powers at play here that are manipulating the weather, personally. I think it's pretty obvious, actually. Like, it's every part of the world is in completely different weather patterning than they normally are. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about the astrological insights you might have up your sleeve.
Ooh, I don't think I need to tell anybody that it's super intense right now. Like, so we have a Saturn-Neptune conjunction that's coming up on February 20th. And this is a pretty potent time because it is in 0 degree of Aries. And 0 degree Aries is the very first degree of the zodiac sign. Or sort of the zodiac, all of the zodiac. So when you have 2 very opposing energies, such as Saturn and Neptune, Saturn is the taskmaster, the grandfather energy. It's the one that keeps you on track, that keeps you disciplined, that like writes your path. Structure, habits, patterns, making sure you're in a healthy space, taking care of your body. It's all like the stuff that we need to be doing to take care of ourselves. And if we're not, it pushes you in that direction. And then we have Neptune, which is all about illusion and fantasy and water and dreams. And it's like, it's a very water. It's all about the emotions and like feeling in, it's the opposite energy of Saturn. Let's just say that. So when you have them in conjunction in the first degree of the first zodiac sign, it is like, I don't think this happened. I think it was like 6,000 years ago, the last time this happened. So it's considered what's called a world point, where it's like a once in a generation kind of energy upgrade that's happening. It doesn't happen often. It's very rare. And I think, again, this is just part of the domino effect that we're seeing at play. And from what I've tapped into, and what I've actually, others have as well, is that January and February are actually like the most calm months of the year. So when we look at January and what's already passed and where we're at with that and everything that's transpired in the world, on the world stage and within ourselves, we're like, you can feel the Fire Horse energy. Like, we are in for a ride. Like, it is going to be a very intense year of changes, and different changes than we're used to, because we've had 2 years essentially of dragon and snake energy, which everything is shadow work, shedding. And we're still in the shedding currently. Like, you can still feel it. Like, there's still this internal kind of space. There's still the stuff coming out, because we're in that final shakeout of pretty much until the 17th, although a couple days before the 17th, you'll start feeling the quickening happening. We are also in portal time. We're in eclipse season right now. So we have, not only is the Fire Horse coming in on February 17th, it is also a solar eclipse. And so we have all these solar codes coming in. We have all these activations that are happening, and then throw in this Saturn conjunction. It's just like, okay, let's go. Like, it's expansive time. It's expansion. Like, we are in a time where it's like, okay, everything we've been intentioning, it's no longer the time of shedding and clearing. We're still in that a little bit right now, but when we look forward, it's like we're going to feel that quickening happening, because there's so much shifting, and there's like, it's just like the seeds are sprouting. Like, you can even see it with the Epstein files, which I didn't really plan on bringing up, but it's literally everywhere. And once we start seeing the dominoes fall, which a lot of that is tied to the structures that are at play that are crumbling, a main area that would be like the celebrity, the elitism, the royals, everything that's going to be coming out with that is like a huge catalyst for like digging deeper and finding even more stuff. Like, it's not all coming out now, but it's coming out in waves. Otherwise, energetically, we wouldn't be able to handle that amount of information, because really the structures of what we call so-called reality are going to crumble with this knowledge. So there needs to be a phasing in and a phasing out of certain things. And I mean, we can see that played out on the world stage right now in pretty much every system around, specifically political. But I also am finding that there's two very specific timelines. Like, there is this war, conflict, separation timeline, and then there's a timeline of where we're coming together and there's no war in the periphery. Like, we're creating a new way of being, and that separation is becoming more and more apparent, I think. And so there's kind of like this question point that we have found ourselves in for months now, but I think it's really at this point, like, it's like, are you gonna stand up and really like follow through with your mission, with your plan, and create the world that you want? Or are you gonna buy into kind of like what's in our external reality? Because there's so much at play, creating fear, trying to instigate and try to create division. So it's like, where is your attention going? What does that look like? And so I think the 2-2 portal was probably the last big grand push for us to just really, really shed. Like, what the last remnants of what we're working on right now is like, literally, it's like that spackle, that stuff that's like really, really like caked on, that we didn't want to deal with, that we really shoved away, that we didn't want to look at. And it's like, that's the stuff that, like, I mean, we've cleared a lot of the easy stuff. So this is the last aspect where it's really, really like, how deep are you willing to go into your own healing and meeting yourself in that space? So essentially what's going on right now is we are clearing and releasing like an outdated construct of time. And what we experience as kind of sequential lives are actually simultaneous expressions of identity that's occurring across different layers of the time matrix. So our intention going forward really would be to focus more on connecting with parallel expressions of consciousness, our parallel selves, our parallel aspects. So, and we're connected to this through memory, perception, and soul identity. So as our awareness expands, individuals begin to sense connection through different avenues and experiences linked to intuition and creativity, or like deep familiarity or recognition with certain experiences that they haven't actually encountered in this particular incarnation. So evolving ourselves means expanding awareness while remaining in a sovereign state. And I think we're really learning what that looks like and what that means to us individually. So it's a remembering more of who you are across essentially multiple levels of existence. So it's a time to really, really embody our authentic soul and our true mission, by direct knowing and self-accountability, self-responsibility, and internal connection to source over any external authority. And I know this is something we always talk about, but it's really, really being your own leader. It really is stepping up and being willing to lead, being willing to look at maybe where you're falling a little bit short of what you're trying to experience or what you're trying to call into your life, and having compassion for yourself within that process as well is really important, because it's not easy, and we don't again have a guidebook on how to do this. And as we continue to like expand and grow, the sense of separation between our identities and what we determine as their growth is part of the larger continuum of learning and soul evolution. So awakening feels disorienting at times because perception expands. The mind attempts to integrate more info than it's used to processing. So like, how do we deal with that? What does that look like? What does that feel like? It can kind of present in moments of clarity, you know, sudden insights, strong inner like recognition, and it can also feel like memories surfacing, because that's a major aspect of it, where we connect into ourselves and our other timelines. We are with these solar codes in like a really extremely strong magnetic field with upgrades, and this is a high level of solar activity that's bringing this in. And I'm finding that we are in kind of pockets of, it's not coming all at once, it's coming in like 2 to 3 day pockets, I find, of like high intensity codes coming in that just kind of takes you out. And there's so many symptoms. There's so many symptoms happening with everybody right now. Like, some of this can present a little bit as, I mean, I think a lot of people have had headaches because the pineal gland is decalcifying. Dizziness or vertigo, a lot of time distortion, lost time or a lot of time, heightened sensitivity, which will be ongoing as we see this kind of unfolding, vision distortions, both physically and energetically, and also brighter, more vivid colors are coming online. We're tapping into deeper layers of our external experience, and visuals of incarnation. So we're actually seeing things more, we're connecting more, as opposed to like feeling into it more. But I mean, that brings fatigue, that brings sometimes digestion issues, dental issues have been coming up a lot, skin rashes and hives, because we are in the fire aspect. So it's really a crazy time of just integrating in this new way of trying to navigate going forward in a world that is completely dissolving, and also trying to find our own solid anchor in ourselves, because the chaos will continue to ensue and it will heighten even more. So the practices that we talk about every time are so integral to making sure that you stay within your own energy. Everyone right now is expelling everything out, and many are not conscious that they're doing that. So when we go into public, if you're sensitive or you're empathic, you're tapping in and feeling and sometimes taking in other people's emotions. And so, I mean, I'm not saying go off grid and don't talk to anybody, but just be super conscious of the spaces and the energies that you're interacting with at this time, because we are in a very open space. Because we are purging, we need to have an openness to allow that to let go and receive the new incoming energies. So it's about this kind of like push-pull energy that just feels extremely disorienting. So there's a lot of people that are just, they don't know whether they're coming or going, they're going left or right or what's happening. And I think it's really about tapping into where we feel in any given moment. Like 5 minutes ago, I could feel totally different than I do now, and that's okay as well.
Just a brief interruption to say thank you so much to all of you for listening with your open ears, your open heart every single week. I'm so grateful for you. For those of you who are new, and for those of you who have been here since the beginning, everyone, I'm very, very grateful. 86.1% of you who listen to this channel aren't subscribed, and 13.9% of you who do listen to this channel are subscribed. I'd like to ask those of you who haven't subscribed to please subscribe, to show your support for the channel and to help the channel grow and be suggested to others. If you feel called to like and comment, that would even boost this channel even further and reach more and help more people out there who might feel that they need this kind of content in their lives. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, back to the episode.
And so having compassion for yourself. And if there's emotional outbursts or things that are coming up, or, like, forgive yourself in the moment. Don't go down the shame train and go into all the spaces that elevate and amplify, further trauma. It really is a slowing down, yet with quickening energy. So it's this weird dichotomy that is playing out right now that there's hardly words to put to it, to be honest, because everyone's experience is so different. And I know my clients are having a lot of dreams. I'm not dreaming at all, which is odd, but a lot of people are having really, really intense dreams, more to show them where their fears still lie, or where they're still a little stuck, or where there's a little more work here to do. And other people are just like, I'm just zooming, they're going along, they're in a great space, and they're really not allowing or engaging in any way with the turmoil that's going on around us. And that's, in my opinion, the best way to be, because there are agendas at play to keep us in fear and keep us divided, to keep us fighting, to keep us feeling and giving energy to the things that essentially they're siphoning. But when we just sit within ourselves, and there could be chaos going on around us and we're still anchored in ourselves, then that is a true testament, I think, of like how far all of us have grown, because everyone has grown so much, whether they wanted to or not, in the last 2 years. Like, it was forced upon us. We were booted in the ass so many times to be like, well, pick up the pace, and while also still maintaining compassion for self and for others in that process. So going forward, what I see for this coming year is so much change. Like, we're not going to recognize a lot by the end of this year. And I think this year is, again, a preparatory year for 2027, which I think, out of all the prophecies and what everybody's talking about, for some reason, what I've always connected into is October of 2027. And I don't know what that means, but I really feel like 26, 27 is going to be absolutely game changing. Like, for the structures to fall, for the truth to come out, for people to really choose their own truth, because there will be people that don't believe the things that are coming out. And there's an agenda behind that as well, because AI has been implemented so fiercely over the last couple of years for that exact reason, to discredit the truth coming out. To just, like, we can look at YouTube and look at videos and be like, I have no idea what's real anymore. Things are so fictional, so false, so masked, that that was actually the intention behind AI, because even if it's something real, everybody discounts it. And this is really when your own internal compass comes into play, and like, what resonates as truth, like, what does it feel like? It doesn't matter how it presents in your eyes, because our eyes deceive. What does it feel like? Does that feel in resonance to you? And everybody's truth is valid. There's no right or wrong. We can have infinite amounts of realities around us and infinite amounts of truth, and we can have opposing truths that are still valid and true. So I think it's a very, very internal journey right now, where we're not measuring ourselves against each other anymore. Well, that person believes that. It's like, you can believe that, I can believe this, and we can still be in harmony. And I think that's really the way we need to embody our engagement with any sentient being around us going forward, because that's something we're a very judgmental society, and for reasons that were implemented actually for that purpose. But we're moving out of that, and it's not easy to let go of our perceptions and the ways that we viewed our external reality and the people around us and the jobs that we're doing and our patterns and habits. And a lot of that comes back to us asking ourselves, like, where am I at now? Like, even practices that we used to, I've did practices for years and they kept me grounded, and I'm like, I don't need that practice anymore. You know, or you bring in a new practice and it's like, I feel like that time with that practice is closed, and now it's time for more energetic. Like, I do a lot of Buddhist practice and energy work as well, working with the chi field, but it's like things I've done for 10, 12 years. I'm finding like I'm ready to let that go and to bring in new practices because it's moving with me. And also on another level, the creative stuff is just next level. Like, all this light language is coming out. All these new things are coming in through my voice, which is really beautiful. Because I'm just letting it come out. Like, I'm not trying to control it. I'm just letting source create through me. And it's so freeing when you just get out of your own way and you're just like, okay, cool. What are we doing today? And, oh, that's a new language, you know, but there's a frequency to it. And I think more and more people are actually, rather than just speaking light language, are going to start understanding and deciphering what that language means. And light language is coming really online right now for a lot of people because we're learning how to feel into the energy of something without having a linear understanding or a label to be like, this is what this means. It's like, what does it feel like? Because light language, you can't decipher a lot of the time unless you're tapped into that coding, because it's language of the stars, it's language of the cosmos, and there's many dialects, and everyone's bringing in all this new light language. I really feel like there's a reason for that. I feel like that's us connecting into our higher selves, our soul, you know, like our soul aspects, and helping us find connection and unity within the people around us, the environment around us. Like, when I do light language, like, I have all these animals come and they just sit. Like, where I'm staying, I have cats and like I have animals around me and they're just there. Like, when I'm singing, or like, it's just, they can feel the frequency, they can feel the vibration of it. And I'm actually starting to decipher and understand some of the light language coming through, but also a lot of it is not meant to be deciphered in a linear human 3D way. It's just not. And that's us learning to trust that this isn't a bunch of gibberish coming out of our mouths. This is like, actually, there's a frequency to it. And I think more and more people are going to be coming online with this. And I think this is a huge aspect of us, because we've talked about this, Sarah, like, when light language starts coming online, you're like, I feel like an idiot. Like, I feel like I'm talking gibberish. I feel like I'm saying nothing, like I'm a toddler, you know, but it's like, when you bypass feeling dumb and you're just like, what is this sound coming from my mouth? When you bypass that and you're just like, you sit with the frequency, it's undeniable that this is otherworldly. It's undeniable that it's coming from another place. And it's just really beautiful to allow that to come out within ourselves, because that's also telling us like our soul connections, you know, it's telling us like we're connecting into our soul tribe, our soul family, like our guides. And this is us bringing online more aspects of our higher aspects into this physicality. And I think I need to remind people that it's like, we're not going anywhere. We're not we're not dissolving into nothingness. We're dissolving the things that are no longer in resonance and that are stagnant energies. And the purpose of that is so we can bring more parts of ourselves into this physicality while maintaining our sovereign, authentic, energetic, while connecting and committing to our soul mission and bringing in the people that are meant to be co-creating with us. So it's like, it depends on how you look at things and where your perspective lies, but how we interact with ourselves, how we interact with around us, it's really telling as to where we are on the timeline, I guess you can say. And there's so much timeline distortion right now. It's nothing makes sense. It's all this muddiness, but that's a part of it, because 4D is not a linear timeline. You know, when we move it, we're actually kind of in and out of 4D already, but it's not linear. So it's like, this is us learning how to navigate things that is not like a sequential order of something, because that takes time to process out of our being and out of our way of thinking. And a lot of that comes down to us needing to control our experience with time. So time is going to take on a new meaning, I think, and the process to get there can be quite disorienting. But I feel like we're in such a crazy time, and like, this is what we've been waiting for. Like, this is what we've been working towards. We have so many lifetimes that have prepared us for this exact moment right now. it's friggin' exciting. Like I am amped up. I already feel the Fire Horse. I still feel a little of the shaking out, but I already feel the Fire Horse energy being like, you know, saddle up, baby. Like it's time to go. Like it's like we are fire, you know, like it's, and the solar code's coming in. Like it's all beautifully aligned in the divine like symphony that's playing out, I think.
Yeah. You can definitely, the energy of the Fire Horse is palpable from the very beginning of January. I know it's not until another week, but it was definitely evident in January. It was a fast month for January, which is usually slow.
Agreed. Yeah, February and January are usually the slowest months, especially in Canada, because it's cold and you're just like, you have nothing to look forward to. Like, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, so like there's months before anything fun comes up and you're in the dead of winter. So yeah, it's usually a time when we go very inward and we go really, really into the self, which I guess we have been asked to do as well. But that's for the grand, you know, unveiling that's going to be coming. And I can feel it too. And I'm ready to go. Like, I'm excited. I'm a shadow worker, and I'm like, all right, enough with the shadow work, you know, like it's like, we can only shed so much. And then it's like, okay. Also, we've been getting used to the energies because the quickening is going to, like, we are never going back to the way that it was. So anyone that's clinging to like, I want it to go back to a certain way, like that way no longer exists. Even yesterday's way no longer exists. And it's like this infinite open field of potentiality in front of us that if we just get excited about that, if we get excited about the openness, it's the message that I keep getting that keeps coming to me is just figure out the next step. We don't need to worry about 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. Like, we don't need to worry about that because it's not informed. So when we are just like, okay, I'm going to follow the next step, and then that next step will lead to the next step, will lead to the next step, and so on. Because we're being trained to trust, we're being trained to surrender, we're being tested in a lot of ways of how much can you handle? Where are you on the spectrum of how much frequency can you take in? Because we're never given more than we can handle. That's something that we can count on. And when we truly know that, when we truly trust and leap into the unknown, leap into the void, and know, you may not know how, but know unequivocally that you will be caught by the universe, you are just, all the magic comes into play. And that is the scariest part, is just taking that big leap and saying yes to opportunities that scare us, to opportunities that are there for our expansion, there for our growth, there to help humanity in this transition. Because anybody listening to this podcast is on the same journey you and I are. You know, like, we are here to be of service. We all have our mission, and everyone has beautiful gifts that they're here to share. So what are those gifts? How do we tap into those gifts? It's quite simple. Whatever brings you joy, that's what you're meant to share with the world. It's so simple when we get out of our own way, and it's just like, what am I meant to do? If you're wondering what you're meant to do, what do you enjoy doing? That's what you're meant to do. And a lot of people are like, but how do I monetize that? It's a really out there idea. And I'm like, good, because the out there ideas are what's going to create the new way of being. We don't have jobs yet. We don't have the society built that we're moving into. We need new jobs. We need new practitioners. We need new ways of healing. We need new energy work. So it doesn't matter how outside the box it is. If that's something that drives you, that feeds you, and would be benefit to humanity in some way, or the animals, I should say, or the plant kingdom or the mineral kingdom, if you are giving back or of service in some way, that is what you're here to do. And the universe will support you and will provide for you all the things that you need along the way. And this is what requires full surrender. Because when we're in a space of how is that going to happen? How am I going to make money? How am I going to pay rent? It's like, it's all 3D stuff. When we know we're going to be provided for. And this is hard because we don't live in a world that way. We were not raised that way. We were raised to be enslaved and to be worrying about these things. So to step outside of that and be like, I'm just not going to buy into that anymore. If we all just stopped using money and just said one day, hey man, that's just paper. I'm not going to use that anymore. Like, it would just cease to be. Like, it would just cease to exist. It's like what we're giving energy to is what builds. So when we are just like, cool, you guys do you, I'll be over here creating a new world. You know, like, I'm going to go over here and do something super weird and out there. And yeah, I'm fine with it, because every starseed that's here is a weirdo in Normie's books, you know, like, But that's the magic, that's the medicine, that's the spice that we're here to bring. And that's what's going to create so many new beautiful modalities, so many new forms of music and dance and expression. And we're here to create. We're here to create together in co-creation. And that's what unity consciousness is. And so when we provide space, and right now, it's very much about, James and I were just talking about this yesterday, where it's like everyone talks about, wouldn't it be great if we had a community, or wouldn't it be great if there was a place that actually existed like that? It's like, now's the time to actually start building the structures and the communities that we've all been talking and wanting. It's like there are certain beings that are here to start that foundation and to action that. And when you find resonance with your community, that it's like this aha moment where you're like, I finally can give myself to something that will build. And it's not going to be overnight, but it's something that feels in resonance to how am I contributing to creating a better way, to creating a different way, to not buy into the old ways. Because the more we give energy or hold on to the things that felt comfortable, or we allow the things that create fear to keep us in the same space, then there's a part of us that's still not ready to surrender. And when you fully surrender, fully from your heart, it's the scariest possible thing, because you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You quitting your job, leaving a long relationship that like is the safety, you know, that, but you also know isn't your highest good. Like those things take so much courage. And that's essentially what's being asked of us, is to, now's the time for us to start genuinely creating the new world, creating the structures and the systems that we want to build into existence. So we are moving into a very different energy that's so exciting. And we've all been waiting for this for years. We've been waiting for this. Like the time is now, and will continue to unfold. Like nothing's going to happen overnight, but the next 4 or 5 years, like will be unrecognizable, because we will continue to build the new way. And there will also be heightened aspects of the 3D timeline that's playing out as well. And there's no right or wrong answers. If some souls are here to actually stay on the 3D timeline because they learn through polarity. Their soul is not ready to move into a space yet where it's like fast paced, and it's just like they're not there yet. And that also needs to be honored. We need to be really careful about this like spiritual kind of royalty energetic that can come through when you're just like, I know better than you. And we need to be honoring of people's choices. That's something that really keeps coming up. Because there are and there's going to be a lot of beings that are leaving. We can already see that happening. There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of transitions that are happening, because there's densities on the earth that will not make that transition, that I don't want to say is holding us back, but we can't truly ascend. Like when some of those energies are removed, it's again an even quickening process, even quicker, because we don't have to move through that density of that collective aspect contributing to the confusion and the distortion. So we're really in a place of transition right now, Sarah. Like it's super exciting. It's uncomfortable. It's unsettling. But really, when you can come from the higher perspective and look at the bird's eye view, it's like we are so lucky to be able to be here at this time in such like, there is no other, like in my opinion, okay, I'm sure there are others, but from what I've tapped into, there's no other planetary system where you have the ability, at least at this time, to evolve as quickly as you can on the earth plane right now in the process that we're in. Like the souls that are here are, regardless of where you are in your incarnation, every soul that is on earth is an evolved being to a degree, because they have to be to handle this amount of density, this amount of polarity, this amount of darkness and control and amnesia. So when we can see it that way, it's humbling. And if we can come from gratitude for being, a lot of us volunteered to be here because we need to be anchors to hold the light in this transition. It's just, this is the 4th time that we've attempted this ascension process, and we're doing it differently this time, and every time it's failed. So it has to be done right. Everything is orchestrated. Like the solar flares coming out are all orchestrated at specific times to coincide with the, like, all of our planets are conscious. They're all entities. They're all working together. And we also need to remember that it's not just Earth that's going through this transition. It's our entire solar system is upgrading. So what we do here ripples out to the collective, way into the cosmic sphere. So there's so many beings that are here. I have goosebumps talking about it because there's so many beings that are here that are helping us in this transit. Like we have so much support, so much help right now. And there is a lot of darkness at play, which like there are warriors of light that are really, really on our side, that are doing everything they can to make sure that we're good in this process, which is just so supportive and really beautiful if you really understand the degree that the help is actually being given. So I feel like we are just down for the ride. I feel like we're on the rocket ship and we're just going, and I'm like, we don't know the destination, but we know what we want at that destination. So yeah. How are you feeling with everything? Like what are you tapping into? Like how has your experience been?
Well, the message I've been getting when we were supposed to have our episode on Friday, I pulled a card, an angel card, and the same card came out today, and the same message came through twice at different stages, and it's setting boundaries to the energies that like we're absorbing without even realizing. And like you were saying before, if you are a type of empath, and a lot of people as we evolve are becoming more sensitive to the energies, and like you said, like 1 minute you're as high and happy as a kite, and then the next minute you're low, you're like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, you know, you're up and down and up and down. And we can set a boundary. We can cleanse our energy and protect ourselves in a sphere, you know, like our morning routine. So that's what the message I'm getting is we have a choice to set a boundary to all of this conflictive energies that are circulating.
That's a beautiful way of expressing it. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, if we're just these open beacons and we're just taking it all in, it's like, that's so much more we need to process and purge and release, which isn't even ours.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting it. Boundaries are, I love that you pulled the same card twice. It's just so perfect for the energetic right now, really.
And nervous systems, like even if you feel that you're a strong person, there's still, if you're still watching everything that's happening, or even if you're not, like your nervous system can be hindered, you know, it's taking a toll on our nervous system. So it's really important, like we say in every single episode, to take care of our nervous systems in some way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, because I think we're also, our nervous systems are upgrading.
Yeah.
Like they're calibrating. So it's like they don't even work the way that they used to. And we have the way I see it is like an electrical box. It's called the natal complex, and there's an electrical system that governs our physical nervous system, which is in our energy field.
Mm-hmm.
That is getting upgraded. So we're integrating in these new aspects of our circuitry, essentially, which is bringing on dormant DNA. And you know, what's actually activating right now is, you know how the scientists are like, you use 9% of your brain and the rest is junk DNA. It's like, no, actually the junk DNA is dormant DNA, which is now activating with these light codes. And there's all kinds of studies that are showing like we're using more parts of our brain. We're able, like, this is where our telepathic communication is going to come in. This is where we're connecting in with our other parts of self. And we're like, a lot of people are connecting into their higher self, and they're like, I didn't realize that this is who I was communicating with the whole time. Like, a lot of people were always like, oh, my guides and this and that. People, like, that was the first kind of tier of understanding. And now they're realizing, actually, I was talking to my highest aspect this whole time. So again, it's like coming back to, like, for me, I'm very conscious of not channeling counsels or really any external beings other than my higher aspects. And I do have guides, but I don't channel them. We communicate differently. When I'm channeling, I only channel my own energy, because that's the only thing I can actually 100% discern, because there is a lot of falsity out there. And like, we talk about this, but there's a lot of jokers in the game, you know, a lot of people who are wearing masks, and a lot of people who are channeling do not recognize that they are not channeling who they think they are. And I'm not saying there aren't beautiful channelers, but the discernment level is just not there with everyone. And so I would highly encourage people to really, really discern, really connect into the feeling. What does it feel like? How does it feel? Is there a resonance? And it doesn't need to be logical or rational. It doesn't have to be like, well, because we talk ourselves in to doing things that we are out of resonance on. Like, it's just like, oh, well, it'll be fine. Or, you know, this is what I should do. And it's just like, no, We're not supposed to do that. Like, we are just like, I don't want to go to that party today. I don't know why, but I'm just not going to go. And it's like, we don't need to make excuses. It's just like, maybe there's going to be a fire there. Or you know, it's like, it's really tapping into the things that we don't need to have logical reasoning for, because that has a deeper, like, guttural, like, understanding of like what's guiding us. And it's not easy to learn to do that, to be honest. Like, it really, and you know.
Yeah. And another card that's very aligned with what we're talking about, and that 85% of our brain that was dormant and now is coming back online is Sophia.
Yes.
The rise of divine feminine.
100%. 100%. Yeah, we are in the womb right now. I can feel it. It's, yeah, I mean, the divine feminine coming online, and like the real divine feminine, not like the falsity divine feminine, you know, which is why we're seeing like all this stuff with the 13 number coming back around, the 13th astrological sign, you know, of the zodiac. And like 13 is the number of the divine feminine. So there's a lot of distortion that's been put in place in society to distort. I mean, like, you know, Friday the 13th, it's a bad day. It's like, actually, it's a very powerful day for the divine feminine. So it's like, we've been told things to fear. It's like, you know, there's nothing to fear of the divine feminine, but it's like the ones that feared her, like, are the ones that like put her down, you know, and like, that can't be it. That's just not going to happen now, because it's like a tidal wave coming in. Like, it's so strong. And I'm seeing a lot of beautiful representation within the masculine, their divine feminine coming online. And it's, especially where I'm at here, people are very conscious and intentional. So it's just like so highlighting to me that I'm like, wow, like, especially coming back after years here and I'm connecting with people, I'm like, wow, you've changed a lot, you know, like, wow, you're really different now. You view things totally different. And it's like, people are awakening. People are waking up to the new energies and finding the balance of their own personal masculine feminine, you know, and that looks different for everybody. But letting go of the labels of the division, I mean, we are all and everything at the same time. So when we can pull on that and feel safe enough to do so, it's so beautiful to observe.
It really is. And it's so evident, even in people who aren't spiritually aligned. You can see, like, I can see a change in their personality, and they're kind of accepting ideas that they didn't accept before, or they're tapping into their creativity, or kind of feeling more emotional. And that's just their divine feminine rising. Yeah.
Yes. And it's beautiful to observe in people who are really understanding of what's going on. Like, I loved watching that, because then they're not even conscious of it, really. They're like, well, this is happening more. I'm a little bit more aware. But when you're observing them, you know, I know you're seeing into those layers, and it's just like, it's happening, you know, like I can see it in like the most like resolute people who would never have this conversation, like, you know, 6 months ago even. So, I mean, also with disclosure, like, we've been prepped for disclosure for years now. Like, everything's out there. People talk about aliens. Like, it's just like, you know, other cultures. It's like, there's a lot of like older generation passing, the ones that are still staunch and holding their old views, you know, and like the babies being born now are just next level already activated DNA wise. So they're doing crazy things, you know, like, so that'll be the new norm. You know, like the kids coming in are just, they're going to teach us. They're going to show us like, well, this is easy to do, you know? And it's like the hindrances or the obstacles that we put in our own way are dissolving as well. Like, it's infinite, the possibility of what we can create and how we create it and who we create it with. So it's exciting.
It must be amazing to have a new baby in your circle who doesn't have amnesia and is coming out with these kind of phrases of and remembering and what we should do and what we shouldn't do, and like these stories. It must be mind-blowing for their mom or their caregivers.
Right. And you know what, I actually saw something, it's funny it's coming up now, but I actually saw something the other day that it was something to do with like I met a conscious baby, or I'm like something like that, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And it was this young guy. He was like maybe like late teens. He's like, so I went over to my neighbor's house with my parents, and, you know, we were having like a, you know, a neighborhood barbecue, and everything was normal. Everything was fine. And then they called me inside to like meet like one of their children, and like there was a baby there. And so the person asked, do you want to hold the baby? He's like, yeah, sure. He's like, super cute baby, really sweet, like piercing eyes. And he's like, everything was fine for a few minutes. And then he's like, my mom said to the mother, do you want my son to like, hey, do you want to come have a drink with us? My son will look after your baby. So he's like, then I'm here with this baby out of nowhere. I didn't offer this, but okay. He's like, I've never held a baby before or anything. And he's just like, he's like, literally as soon as the parents left, he's like, the baby, he's like, it was cute. He's like, but the baby's just like staring at me. And before the mother left, she told this guy, she's like, the baby only says 3 words, mom, dad, and love. And so when his parents and the mother left, the baby looks at him and says, food. And he's like, what? Like, wait a second. Like, did I just hear your 4th word? Like, I shouldn't be hearing your 4th word. Like, this should be with your parents. Like, he's like, all right, I'm going to keep this to myself. I'm not going to say anything. And he's like, then this baby just stared into my soul for like a minute. He's like, we just sat there staring at each other. And he's like, I feel like all this stuff was said, but he's like, I couldn't really understand what was going on. And then he said, the baby looked in my eyes and was like, I don't speak all I know to them. And he's just like, this is a baby that can speak 3 words. He's like, okay, so you're putting proper sentence structure together. You're telling me that you literally are conscious of not speaking fully to your parents or around other people. And he's like, and he was just like flabbergasted. And then the parents came in and he's like, the baby switched when the parents came in and was like, ma, dad, like back into this like la la. And he's just like, what just happened? Like,
Wow.
He's like, I didn't tell anybody. He's like, my parents, I told finally, and they didn't believe me. But I'm like, this is what's happening, you know? It's like these kids are conscious. I just find that so funny and so telling to be like, I'm going to play, you know, like I'm not going to tell them that I know everything. And like they're a little observer, just there, like probably taking notes and reporting back to the team on like the family dynamics and the ancestral stuff. Like it's so funny. And I'm like, we're going to see more stuff like that. So I just found that really funny. And he was just, the way he expressed it too was hilarious. He's just like, what parallel reality am I in right now? Like this baby just spoke like with intention. I'm not letting them see me. You know, he's like, I understand more than I speak to them. And like, but this baby chose to show him, which I found really interesting. So that was pretty funny.
They must have had like a connection without him knowing. You know, the baby probably knew.
Yeah, I imagine it would. Or like saw something in him where he was just like, okay, I can trust you, or no one's going to believe you. That's probably more what, because he's like, no one believed me anyway. But yeah, I'm so excited to see these kids. Sorry, it's a bit loud here. I'm so excited to see these kids that are coming in with these new just skills and abilities, and just, they're going to be magic. Yeah.
I can't wait either. Oh, thank you so much, Lonna, for all of your wonderful wisdom. I appreciate you so much. And I cannot wait to hear more the next time you're back.
Oh, thank you for having me. I always have so much fun when we get